Hi, I'm Chief Rodriguez, and thanks for tuning in. And here we are already on another hurricane season. And the experts expect an active season this year with some major hurricanes and up to 7 major storms. And I think that the images and the memories of Hurricane Harvey are still fresh in everybody's mind from last year. Texas and many Texans were devastated by the effects of this hurricane. And we know that there are communities that are still recovering almost a year later from the devastation caused by the hurricane. And we also learned that a lot of people were not prepared. People don't expect hurricanes to hit their area, and they just play the odds. As a matter of fact, there's at one point Hurricane Harvey was coming towards the valley and made its way up north. That brings a lot of issues to mind, and number one is preparedness. It is so important to have a plan for hurricane season, and the number one thing you need to know and have in mind is an escape route. Where are you going to go in the case of a mandatory evacuation or a voluntary evacuation? Have a plan, have family members that you're going to contact in case you need to evacuate. And number two, just as important, is a hurricane preparedness kit. And that includes a flashlight with enough batteries to get you through several days, a first aid kit, your non-perishable food items, bottled water, make sure your medications are up to date, and do everything else you need to prepare for those long hauls. You may even consider a portable generator to get you through those days when we lose power. It's important that you're able to survive for several days without electricity and have enough supplies, including food, to get through those tough times. Another thing I also think encourage a lot of people to do is to make sure you are prepared for coverage in your home. One of the things that we learned during the hurricane last year is there was a lot of bad information on insurance preparedness. Be sure your policies are up to date and you're covered for such a thing as flood. Flood coverage is so important. There were people who were thinking that water damage is going to cover flood damage, and that's not the case. So be sure you get with your insurance agent and make sure you are prepared for possible loss of property. Another thing to do is inventory your property before hurricane season comes so that you can be prepared to file a claim if necessary. One thing we did find out is that people were having difficulties getting claims because they could not prove ownership of property that was lost or damaged. So go through your home, go through your property and inventory. Simply taking pictures, video of your possessions before, that would make it a lot easier for any adjuster to come in after the fact and try to determine what it is that you had. Things can get lost and things can get damaged beyond recognition. Look at your property and look at your surroundings. In the event of a hurricane, a lot of the damage is caused mostly by winds, high winds. So make sure that when you get ready to evacuate, if that happens, that you look around in your property and look for things that could be considered be launched as missiles. It could be loose lawn furniture or other property that's not tied down in your backyard, barbecue pits, for example. So these are some of the safety tips and some of the things that you can do to minimize your inconveniences in a major storm. Another thing that is very, very important is in the situation where there's a hurricane warning or watch, that you keep informed by staying tuned to the radio and for the experts and the news stations that are going to be informing you, the National Weather Service, for example, and of course law enforcement and your local authorities. Know where your shelters are at, but keep yourself informed. Social media is also a valuable tool to help you to learn what's going on. But again, I encourage you to really listen to the experts for solid, valuable, pertinent information, and not information that's just out there floating around that's of no value to you. At the end of the day, we want you to have a safe and secure hurricane season, and we pray that everything goes well. And we, of course, again, we deal with the devastations and we see how people suffer months after the fact. Try to minimize your risks and losses by being prepared in advance of any hurricane, and now that hurricane season is upon us. Get your kits ready now. Don't wait for the warnings and don't wait for the last minute storms that can pop up overnight seemingly, because you can see what happens when there's a mad rush at stores to get supplies to get through a storm. So be prepared now, because it can happen, it can develop quickly and seemingly in days. There's also good information that you can get from 546 Help, and the city's helpline to give you the valuable information to help you survive the storm. For more information on this subject and other valuable information, please check with us on bpd.com and also like us on Facebook. Thank you and have a great day.